as a former chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, I can clearly tell you that the current tax system we have incentivizes businesses to go overseas. It encourages businesses to leave America and to outsource. We don't want to keep encouraging that. So we do believe that a border tax on the border, which is what all our competitors do. Just don't forget the fact that most of the other countries in the other industrialized nations remove the tax off their exports and place a tax on their imports. We do the opposite.
That's House Speaker Paul Ryan earlier today advocating for comprehensive tax reform, including instituting a border tax. And he reminded reporters that no one understands the ins and outs of the American tax system quite the way he does. Well, I think Mitch Modell knows a little bit more about how all of this works. He's a very successful businessman, and he's got a lot at stake here. Mitch, welcome to the show.
How you doing, Charles?
Good. I mean, you guys have been expanding. Your stores cover how many states now?
We're in 10 states. We're in the northeast corridor.
10 states. I mean, every time I'm driving 95, I see the Modells everywhere, and I try to get a discount using your name. It hasn't worked yet.
They'll throw you out of the store, Charles.
The main issue with retailers, the border tax, they're saying that this would destroy their business. What is Paul Ryan getting wrong?
What he's not understanding, look, we understand that the president and Congress has to do something about trade. But at the end of the day, when they set this border tax on imports to the country, as retailers, we have to pass on the cost to the consumer. So the consumer's going to pay 15 to 20% more on merchandise than they do today. The National Retail Federation says based on this tax, the average consumer is going to spend $1,100 more on groceries, on clothing, on gas as a result of this tax. The math doesn't work.
Now, one of the true facts also, though, and it's unfortunate for businesses, but you may not be able to pass it on. I mean, so that hurts your margins. And someone watching the show may be like, hey, you know what? It's about time that business sees their margins hurt just a little bit for the greater good. What do you say to people who are saying for the greater good, to create jobs in this country, why not take a little bit less as a business and maybe be more patriotic?
Listen, I believe in a lot what President Trump is doing, create jobs in America, but they have to be competitive. At the end of the day, it's going to be passed on to the consumer. If you're paying a lot more money for merchandise as a retailer, the costs are going to be higher. If the costs are higher, the retails are higher. If the retails are higher, it means less disposable income for the consumer. So there's got to be a balance. I mean, look.
What is the balance? What do you say then? Mexico, for instance, and it's mostly, I think, on the automobile side, but they have a distinct advantage with their value-added tax. Once you export from there, they rebate the company. So essentially, it's a duty-free thing. That's why everyone's manufacturing down there. Cheap labor, low currency, and a rebate on the value-added tax. That's a huge, huge advantage. What would the administration do if you could speak with Donald Trump? What would be an alternative to fight that?
They've got to balance it out. Listen, I agree that you don't want to have the American people lose their jobs because companies are opening up factories outside. That's one balance of the equation. The other thing is, I mean, every manufacturer, Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, every importer, most of it comes from either from China, from Mexico, from, Vietnam, wherever, depending on the duties and the taxes that are involved. And at the end of the day, they have lower wages, and you're able to buy goods at lower prices, which means you can pass it on to the consumer. Higher wages, higher operating model means higher cost, higher retails. The consumer, at the end of the day, is going to get hurt.
Well, the other side, though, of what's going to probably happen here very shortly, we're seeing a laser-like focus on getting rid of Obamacare. That would be huge for your business, wouldn't it?
Well, you know what? Until we shake out, look, we understand he wants to repeal it. And I agree with it. The question is, we don't know how it's all going to flush out at the end of the day, what Congress is going to pass, what the president's going to propose, but it does have to be changed.
Permits, regulations, Barack Obama instituted over $800 billion worth. I know some of that's got to hurt you. You're trying to build out, you're in 10 states now. That must be a hurdle that could really lower your costs and maybe get you to invest at least more in business and more in employees.
Listen. What's great about having a president that's a businessman, he understands we need to invest. If we have an investment tax credit, we'll renovate more stores, we'll buy more
Write it off the same year, all that stuff. Forget about dragging it out. Write it off right away, get the permit done in days, not weeks, not months. move this economy.
Absolutely. So what's the ripple effect? If we renovate stores, we got to buy fixtures, new tiles, new floors, new ceilings. That means we have to buy it from manufacturers. That means they have to hire workers. Those manufacturers have to buy the component parts. So it becomes a ripple effect. No different than the infrastructure. What he's doing with the infrastructure bill is brilliant. What better person to build an infrastructure than Donald Trump,
Right.
who's one of the greatest developers?
Mitch Modell, thank you very much, buddy. Nice seeing you.